Hello students, in this video we are going to start our chapter number 2 of your computer science Python fundamentals. So before we proceed, let's see what all topic we are going to cover in this video. So first is your character set that is used in Python language, then tokens used in Python language, and under tokens there are some more subtopics like keywords, identifiers, literals, operators, punctuator, and then last is a bare bone of Python program. So these all topics are going to be covered in this video. So let's proceed. So first we are going to learn about IPO cycle. So what is IPO cycle? It's an input, processing and output cycle. So all computers actions are governed by IPO cycle, input, process and output. So in your junior classes also you might have learned that the computer works on a basic fundamental is that it takes input, it processes the input and then gives it its output. So input, what is input here? So input, whatever we input onto the computer using our input devices is called input data. So for processing anything the computer needs input data. So in where this data come from, so we input the data using our input devices like mouse, keyboards and other input devices. So anything that we input, generally we are talking here about the keyboard. So lot many data we input, lot many information we input onto the computer using our keyboard. So what type of data we input, that we are going to focus now. Python character sets. So whatever we type from the keyboards, these are the character we input onto the computer. So that's why it's very important for us to learn about the Python character set. All the characters that we are going to use in Python, we are just going to learn here. So character set is a set of valid characters that a language can recognize. A character represents any letter, digit or any other symbol. Python supports Unicode encoding standard. So what is given here? Character set is a set of valid characters that a language can recognize. So for example, if I am inputting A, I am just pressing the key A. So the compiler or the interpreter of the language should understand what is this. So what is happening there? Actually, when I press A, this A is producing certain type of codes. That codes we call Unicodes. So these Unicodes, which is given here, are the standard codes that has been given to each and every character that we use. So these whatever data we input from the keyboard, whatever character we press from the keyboard is converted to a certain code that we call Unicode. So Python support Unicode encoding standard, and these character may be letter, digit or any other symbol. So these are the character. We are just going to see a table here. Okay, so Python has following character sets. So here we could see letters, all the letters capital from A to Z and small from again A to Z. So these are the different characters. If I am typing pressing capital A, this is different. This has been given different codes, and if I am typing small a, so again it has been given different codes. So that's why they are different characters. It's not the same. The capital letters and small letters are different for the compiler or interpreter. Then comes your digits, 0 to 9 digits that can form many numbers. Then comes your special symbols. So space, that we use space bar, and this plus sign, minus sign, multiplication, exponential, forward slash, backslash, brackets, and these all are the special symbols that are already there in the keyboard, and we every now and then used to use these symbols. then it's white spaces. Spaces supposed to come here, spaces. So what are the white spaces? These are the certain keys that we press. They are on the keyboard, but they don't reflect any character on the screen. So like blank space, tabs, this is space bar, this tabs, carries written enter keys, new lines and form feed. These are the white space that is also used by Python language. Then other character, Python can process all ASCII and Unicode characters as part of data or literal. So ASCII, all ASCII, ASCII is an acronym for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So these are again the codes that has been given to different character, and Unicode is also the coding only. So Python can process all ASCII and Unicode, means it can process ASCII codes and Unicode's characters from all the different languages used over the world. So these are the character sets that the Python use, basically letters, digits, special symbols, white space and other characters. Now we are going to learn about the token. So what is the token? Do you have any idea? Okay, I will just make you understand by giving one example. I am just writing here one sentence. I am learning Python. And if you're learning in a grammar class, the teacher might ask you, okay, may ask about the parts of speech like this. I is a pronoun and am is a helping verb. Learning is verb. Python is noun. So one sentence, the whole sentence is made up of different elements, pronoun, helping verb, nouns, and what do we call them all collectively? I hope you know it. So these we call parts of speech. So a sentence is made up of many parts of speech. So similar way, in Python language, whenever we write different codes, so these codes are also given different names. So now similarly, in a programming language, every expression or statement is made up of many elements. We will just see, I have just given some codes here for x in range within brackets 1, 5 and then colon is there. If x is equal to 3 bracket and there are some semicolons also. So this is a code. So we'll just identify what are these elements in Python. So keyword. So for if bracket is called keywords. Now identifier, this x, and here in the second line also this is also x. So these are identifier. Now literal, this 1 and 5 are literal, even these 3 literals. Then operator, you could see some operators are there, this equal sign is the operator, and punctuator, you could see this colon and semicolon, these all are punctuators. So in one 3-line course we have seen many elements are there. So these elements, as we have seen in a sentence, the sentence is made up of different parts of speech. So similarly, this course is also composed of different parts of speech. Okay, so parts of speech in sentence is equal to token in Python. I hope now you understand. So whenever we write codes, these codes are composed of many elements that we have given them different names because their functions are different. So I hope you understand codes, tokens. So different element that we use in Python is called. Now some example. A is equal to 5, B is equal to 6, C is equal to A plus B, print B. So I want you to find out which type of tokens these are. Okay, you find out. I'm just proceeding further. Now I'm going to tell you types of tokens. So keywords, identifiers, literal or values, operators, and punctuators. So these are the tokens that we are going to learn in this chapter. So first is keywords. Keywords are words that convey a special meaning to the language compiler or interpreter. These are reserved for a special purpose and must not be used as a normal identifier name. So these convey special meaning to the language compiler or processor or compiler interpreter. So what are compiler interpreter? What's the function of these? The function is to convert this high level language into the machine language or low level language. So whenever they are getting processed, these keywords conveys certain meaning to the compiler or interpreter, and compiler interpreter act according to the meaning they convey, and these we call reserved words. Okay, and we cannot use them as a name, normal identifier names, name of some other elements. We should not use it. Okay, we'll learn about it. We cannot use keyword as a variable name, function name, or any other identifier. They are used to define the syntax and structure of the Python language. So I will just show you here. One word was the for. One word is break. So these convey some special meaning to the interpreter. We are talking here interpreter only. This if is also. So these words cannot be used because these are the reserved word. Okay, these are the reserved word, and we cannot use them to name any other element like variable name, like functions name. Okay, so these are the keywords, and these are reserved word. Now here is the list of some keywords: false, class, finally, is, return, none, continue, for, lambda, try, to, def, from. These all are keywords. So as you proceed further with learning with Python, you will come across these keywords and you will have better understanding then. Now we are going to learn about identifiers, names. So how do you know people around you? How do you remember them by their names? So similarly, the different elements in Python are given different names. We are going to learn about it. Identifier are the names given to different elements of Python programs such as variables, functions, classes, objects, dictionaries, lists, etc. Rules to form identifiers. So rules to form identifier. Number one, an identifier is a long sequence of letters and digits. The first character must be a letter. The underscore counts as a letter. So whenever we are giving some name to some elements, we have to remember few things, that identifiers can have a sequence of letter and digit both, and the first character must be letter, and the underscore counts as a letter. Means a name can be start with any alphabet, any letter of the alphabet, or underscore, because underscore is also counted here as a letter. Next, upper and lower case letters are different. This we have learned. The digit 0 through 9 can be part of the identifier except for the first character. Identifiers are unlimited in length. An identifier must not be keyword of Python. An identifier cannot contain any special character except for the underscore. So here you have to try to understand uppercase and lowercase letters are different. That I have already told you. For the Python, capital A and small a is different. Okay. Let's say capital Y and small y. They're different. Okay. So that digit 0 through 9 can be part of the identifier except for the first character. You can include a digit as a name of the element, but it should not start from a digit. Means the name cannot begin with a digit. Next, identifier are unlimited in length. There is no restriction of length how long you can have your identifier. Next, an identifier must not be a keyword of Python. So this you have learned in a keyword also, that keyword are the reserved word and we cannot use them as an identifier. So we cannot use keyword as an identifier or name of the elements. An identifier cannot contain any special character except for underscore. So underscore can be there, but not other special character like question mark or exclamation mark or at the rate. So these cannot be part of the identifier. Now here we are going to see some example of valid identifier and invalid identifier. So ABC. Here ABC is a valid one because it's contain letters, all the letters are there. For AZ, so this is wrong. Why? Because this begin with the digit, so we cannot have digit as the first character of the name. Now A3C, again this is composed of letter and digit, 3 is in between. Priya at the rate 123, this is wrong. Why? Because of the special character which is used here. We cannot have a special character as an identifier. Okay, RP underscore school, correct, because score can be used. Pass, why it is wrong? Because this is a keyword. This is a keyword, so it cannot be used. Underscore KYC, it's correct. It's beginning with the underscore. We can have it because we say that you can begin your name or your identifier with either any letter or underscore. That's a valid one. Okay, my dot file, it's wrong. Why? Because this is the special character here. Please stop. That cannot be. Ranjan 12 is the correct. So these are the valid and these are invalid. These are the valid one. So this is about the identifier. Now we are going to learn about literals. So literals are constant value that are used as data items. Python allows several kinds of literals: string literals, numeric literals, boolean literals, special literals, known, and literal collection. So literals are the fixed value, are the constant value, the value that doesn't change. So anything we input the value that doesn't change is a literal. Let's say if I input 5, so the value of 5 will always remain 5. It is not going to change. So that's a literal. If I am inputting my name, so the name will always remain same. It is not going to change. So that we call a literal. Okay, constant or fixed value, and that we use as a data. Okay, so that we call a literal. So types of literal: string literal we are going to learn. Okay, the numeric literal, boolean literal, special literal, none, and literal collection. So we are going to learn about them one by one. So under literals we are going to learn first string literal. So the text enclosed in quotes form a string literal in Python. Examples are there: A within single quotes, AFSDF within single quote, SDF within double quote. So you could see here, this is single quotes, and double quotes. Okay, so these we call literals. The text within quotes are called literal. So unlike other program, literal in Python may be in single quotes or double quotes. So it's your choice whether you want to put the literal string literal in single quotes or double quotes. It's your choice. In other program, there were the restrictions so that the character can be put in a single quotes, but the string will be put in a double quotes. So these were some restriction, but here in Python there is no such a restriction. You can put the string in any single or double quotes. Now Python allows certain non-graphic characters in string values. Non-graphic characters are the characters, so those cannot be typed directly from keyboard, i.e. backspace, tabs, carriers, return, etc. No characters is tapped when these keys are pressed on the keyboard. These non-graphic characters can be represented by using escape sequence, and escape sequence is represented by a backslash followed by one or more characters. Now there are some more characters that we have already learned in the beginning when we were learning about the character set that we use in Python. So there are certain characters that cannot be tapped. For example, if I press space bar, or if I press enter key from my keyboard, or if I press, let's say, shift key, so will you find anything tapped there? No. So you won't find anything. Though some action is taken there, on pressing the key some action is taken there, but we cannot see any character is printed there. Okay, so these type of characters are called non-graphic characters. So non-graphic characters cannot be tapped there directly from the keyboard, and that's why these we call non-graphic characters. So what are those? The backspace, okay, and this tab, carry is written in enter key. So they cannot be tapped. Now the action will take. These non-graphic characters can be represented by using escape sequence. If we want to use these characters, non-graphic character, in our programming, like enter key or space key or tab key, we may require there in the program to use these keys there. So we can do that. We have to use backslash for that. This backslash and followed by one or more character. So these are also string literal. Non-graphic characters are also string literal that can be presented with the help of backslash. So we are going to see here some. Okay, this one. This is backslash. If you want to use backslash, so one backslash is there, and then again one more is there. So that means we want backslash there if you want to print this. Okay. Now next, this is a single quote. If you want to use single quote there, so backslash and single quote, backslash and double quote, ASCII bell, backslash and A, ASCII backspace, B, like this, form feed. Okay, so these are the, some more are there. This carry is written / R. This is for ASCII. Okay, this. Okay, so these we call non-graphic characters, which are part of string literals. Now we are going to learn about the different types of string. So string types in Python. So Python allows two string types. First one single line string, second one multi-line string. So two types of strings are there that we can use in Python. First is single line strings and second is multi-line string. Okay, so single line strings, the strings that we create by enclosing text in single quotes or double quotes are normally single line strings. So any strings that we put in single or double quote is a single line string. We will know. Okay. Then multi-line string. Sometimes you need to store some text spread across multiple lines as one single string. So multi-line string can be created by the following two ways: by adding a backslash at the end of the single quote or the double quote string, or by typing the text in triple quotation marks. So single line and double line or multi-line, we'll just see. Okay, now here I am going to show you how we can enter the valid string. First, a single line string. So I am just creating one variable for the text, and I will write equal to and single quote, let's say RP school. Okay, so this is a text. This is our string, single line. This is a single quote. So this is valid one. Let's see. I'll just type text here, and you'll see RP school is given there. Again, next time I'm just typing it in a single double quote. RP school. Sorry, yeah, double quote. And again I will type text, and it's valid, RP school. Now if I type it in a multiple line, I just want try to type it in a multiple line, text, that's a single quote RP. I want to go to the next line, and here you could see there is syntax error. So that means when we are using single or double quotes, so we are able to type our string in single line only. So that is a single line string in double quotes as well as a single quote. Now we are going to learn about a multi-line string, and there were two ways to enter multi-line string. First one was using backslash. So we are just going to see. So I am again text equal to, let's say, RP, and I'm using the backslash here, and then I'm going to next line is school, and closing is within quotes. Now here you can see that I have tabbed in the two line. RP is this line and school in the next line, and this time it doesn't raise any issue because I have used backslash here. So with the help of backslash we can tab our string in multiple line. Okay, and now moving further, I will just text right down here to print this, the value of text, and its RP school is there. So this is one way we can type our string in multiple line. Okay, now we are using the second method, how we can type a string in multiple line, and the second method is by typing the text in triple quotes. So I'm just creating a variable, let's say this time string, string 1. Okay, or I can type text only, text is equal to 1 2 3 and hello, I am learning Python. Okay, so I have just started with 3 quotes and 1 2 3 4 line, and here I am again enclosing it the 3 quotes, and there is no issue now. no error is there. And if I tap this text here, you can see hello, and this is a new line character. Actually this is a new line character, this is new line character and new line character. So this is how we can type a string in multiple lines. Now we are going to learn about size of the strings. So I have just tagged one string here, school, within the quotes. So what is the size? I mean, how many characters are there? So the Python count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So total character are 6, and I have given a len text, means I just want to know the length of the text. Len is the short form for the length, it's a function. So len text means what is there in text? Text is equal to school. So in the text school is stored, and I want to know the length of the string that is stored in text, and it has given 6. So this is very normal. And if I write, now I'm going to use different variable. String 1 is equal to, let's say it's backslash, and I'm writing school. Okay, and now I just want to see what is the length of this string 1. Okay, and yes, it has given 7. So this backslash is also counted as a 1, and that's why the total length of the string has become 7. Now I am going to write something more. So string 2 is equal to quotes and backslash. I am going to write AB and quotes close. Okay, then I just want to know the length of this string 1, and let's see what comes here. So here comes, sorry, it should be string 2, len string 2, and here it has shown 2. Why 2? Because this backslash and a is a escape sequence. So escape sequence takes one character. It takes one characters. You might have seen this. Now I am going to write some more. String let's say 3 is equal to, within quotes, A, B, C, and if I want to know length of string 3. Okay, so let's see what would be the answer. 3. Okay, A, B, C, 3. Now again I am going to write string 4, and now I am using it in multiple line. Multiple line string 1, 2, 3 quotes, and A I am going to write here, then enter. B I am going to write here, then enter. C I am going to write in the third line, and then closing it. Now I just want to see the length of string 4, and what would you expect? What will be the length of the string? So it's a 5. So 1 A is counted 1, and 1 enter key that I press carries return, that we call, that I press enter key here 2, and then B 3, and one more enter key here 3. So 1, 2, 3 and one enter key 4, and I see 5. So 3 character and 2 enter key, 1 enter key here and 1 enter key here. So that's why whenever we press an enter, Python count it as a character, non-graphic character that we have learned. Now I'm writing one more string here, string 5, let's say, and it's equal to now this time I'm using the backslash at the end of the line, A and then B and then C, and closing it here. Okay, and then I'm going to find the length of string 5. Okay, string 5, and it's 3 now. This time you can see 3. So when I press enter key here, it was counted. I press enter key here, that was carries return, it was counted here. But when I press this backslash at the end of the line, here and here, here and here, so these are not counted. So this we have seen in a multiple line multiple line string. When we are using backslash, the backslash is not counted, but when we use enter key or carries return, so that is used. So this is the little bit insight I have given you about the length of the string or size of the string. Okay, now we are going to learn about numeric literals. So there are 3 types of numeric literals in Python: integer or int, positive or negative, whole numbers, float, real numbers written with the decimal point, and complex in the form of a plus bj, where a and b are floats and j represents minus under root 1. So numeric related to the numbers. So 3 types of numeric literals are there. One is integer, or that we call int, positive or negative whole number, 1 2 3 4, -2, -5. Okay, so these are the integer. Now next is float. Float means the decimal number. The numbers with the decimal points are called floats. Then next is the complex one. So the complex numbers comes in the form of a plus b j, where j represent under root -1, and a and b are floats. It may be any number, but j is -1. This complex number you might have learned in your mathematics also, or will be learning. So we will just see a little bit brief about integer literal sign. Sign means with the sign positive or negative. So here you could see the first integer literals again are of 3 types: decimal form, octal form, and hexadecimal. Okay, so what are the integer literal? This is sign 1, this is a 2, this is a positive, this is negative, 45, -4545. So these are the integer literals. And if you talk about the decimal form, so the number which is composed of 0 through 9 numbers, those are composed of 0 through 9, that's called decimal number, and its base is 10, base 10. You might have learned about it. Okay, octal number, those are formed from 0 to 7, and it is generally written in this form. Okay, 0 O and 4 5 6, whatever it is, so it won't go beyond 7. It's not okay 4 5 6 8, so the number will be from 0 to 7 only. So this is we call octal number. And then hexadecimal number, the number that are formed from 0 to 9 and letters from A to F. The total are the 16 symbols, 10 digits, and 6 letters. So total are 16. This we call hexa. This is written 0x and then followed by the number, or maybe somewhere you will find the letter also. So hexadecimal form. So octal form, total 8 number; decimal form, total 10 number; hexadecimal form, 16 number; and this is the way to write it, 0x and followed by the number, okay, 0o followed by the number, and this is a simple decimal number we use in our day-to-day life. So integer literals. Now we are going to learn about the floating point literals, another type of numeric literals. So floating literals are also called real literals. Real literals are numbers having fractional part. These may be written in one of the two forms called fractional form or the exponent form. So example are 2.0, 17.06 minus 34.8 minus 0.987.6, and this will be taken as a 0.6. This will be taken as a 0.6. This one, if I write 0. Only 0.6, so the Python will take it as 0.6. If I write 8 point, so it will be taken 8.0. So these we call floating point literal. Now we are going to learn about Boolean literals. A Boolean literal in Python is used to represent one of the two Boolean values as true, Boolean true, or false, Boolean false. A Boolean literal can either have value as true or as false. It's a value, okay, VALUE. Oh, sorry, this one, VALUE. Okay. So Boolean literals are two values, either true or false, or it can be either true or false. Anyone, it cannot be both true or false. Now next is special literal none. None means nothing, no one. Okay, so Python has one special literal which is none. The none literal is used to indicate absence of value. It is also used to indicate the end of list in Python. The none value in Python means there is no useful information or there is nothing here. So if no value is there in any variable, so that means it's a none. So that is a special literal none. We are going to learn about this in the next chapter actually. So here this much only I am going to give. Next is the operators. So what are the operators? So operators are tokens that trigger some computation when applied to variable and other objects in the expression, in an expression. Variable and objects to which the computation is applied are called operands. So an operator requires some operands to work upon. So I have been many times this term is coming time and again, variables. So I don't know whether you know this term or not. So here I'm just going to make it clear what's a variable. Suppose we have talked in the beginning of the video, we have talked about IPO cycle, input, process, and output. Okay, so what is going to be processed? So the data, the literal, the value that we supply. So whenever we supply any value to the computer, actually this value is stored somewhere in the computer memory location. Let's say I just want to write a program where two numbers are added and the result is shown to me. So what I have to do, what I have to input, let's say I want to add 2 and 3. So where 2 and 3 are stored there? So these 2 and 3, these data are stored in computer location, some specified location. Okay, let's say this is a specified location here. So these are the variable. These are the variable which store memory locations. Okay. Then if they are added, the result is again stored in somewhere another memory location. So this memory location is displayed on the your monitor. So this is how the things, the data are stored there. So these we call variables. So we are talking about operator. What is operator? Let's say we want to add these two numbers, okay, and these are stored in some variable. So this plus sign is an operator. This is a symbol that is used for some computation. Okay, so these are the tokens which trigger some computation when applied to variable. This is a variable or some object. So this variable and this variable, let's say this variable name is a and this variable name is b. So what I'm going to write, a plus b, okay, and this to be stored in c, let's say. So c is equal to a plus b. So this we call operand. This a and b and c are operand. This is operand, okay, where the value is stored, and this plus sign that triggers computation or that facilitates the computation is called operator. So this plus is operator and a b are operand. Similar, one more example is given, a c is equal to a plus 5. So this is also operand. Here it's only direct number, no variable is there, okay, and this is a variable. So these we call operand, okay, operand. And operator, this one is a operator. This is also one operator, assignment operator and addition operator. So these are the operators. There are different types of operators that are used in Python. We are going to learn a little bit about, because this in a detail has been given later on the next chapter. So here we are just going to learn in brief only. So unary operator, unary means one. Unary means one. So unary operators are those operators that requires one operand to operate upon. Okay. So in the last slide we have seen that there were two. Whenever we are using this one, so there at least two operand was there, one a and one 5. Here also this and this. But some operators are there that require only one operand. Okay, so these operand are called unary. This plus is one unary plus, this minus is unary minus, this is bitwise complement, and this is not operator, not logical negation. So we will learn next chapter about this. So only one, let's say I will just write an example. So plus a, this, so there is only one operand, this a, okay, and this is the operator, so that's why it's called unary operand. Maybe minus b, okay. So these are the unary, only one operand is required, a and b single, otherwise a plus b. So this is not unary because there are two operands. So what does this mean? We will learn in the next chapter. Now next is a binary. Here is coming binary operator. Binary operators are those operators that require two operands to operate upon, that we have seen examples. So there are different types of binary operator. First we are going to learn about arithmetic operator. Arithmetic operator that are used for arithmetic calculation. So many arithmetic operators are there. Already aware of this: addition, subtraction, this is multiplication, this is a division, this gives you quotient, okay, and this is remainder or modulus, this gives you remainder, and this is exponent raised to power, this is help you to use the raised to power. And Floor division. Floor division means the it gives the whole part of the result, and the decimal part or fractional part is truncated. That is a float division. Now next is bitwise operators. So AND bitwise, OR bitwise, and no, JOR bitwise and OR bitwise. Here is some mistake. So this is JOR, exclusive OR, bitwise exclusive OR, JOR, and this is OR, and this one is AND. So these are the bitwise operators. Next is your shift operator. So shift left, shift right, two operators are there, and then is your identity operator is the identity same, and is the identity not same. These operators I am not going to explain you here because these we are going to learn in the upcoming chapters in detail. So we will learn there only. Here we will just learn the how many types of operators are there. So I think this video is going to be too long. I'm going to stop it here only. We will continue other topics in the next video. Thank you very much.